calendar that has nothing to do with the rhythms of nature. And your ADHD nervous system suffers greatly from this lie. You have been gifted since you were a child this belief that the year ends in December, on December 31st, and that the new year begins. The new year, the new you on January 1st. And that means at that time of year, you need to have your goals set. You need to start changing your diet, changing your fitness, changing all of your behaviors because you need to improve yourself. But what if this lie has actually been keeping you dysregulated? You see, the Gregorian calendar is simply one calendar. There are many out there. There are different calendars for different religions, for different places in the world. The Mayans had 20, 30, 60 calendars. I don't know. There's so many that they used. But the Gregorian calendar, which was installed in the 1500s by Pope Gregory the Eighth, was installed as a method to control you. It is a method to control the population. Religion is much more about control and consolidation and of power than it is about connecting you with God. If it was truly about connecting with you with God, it would teach you to do that on your own rather than forcing you to have some sort of intermediary like a pope or a bishop or whoever. But this calendar says that we end the year in December, the 12th month, which, by the way, DEC, dec in Latin, is a prefix that means 10. So we have the 12th month, which is called Tenember, basically. And it says that at the end of that month, in the dead of winter, you are going to end, wrap up, close things up, and then begin fresh, begin once again. Even though so many ancient calendars, ancient astronomical and astrological systems would say to you that the new year would begin sometime in February, towards the end of the winter. Of course, I'm talking about the Northern Hemisphere here, which is probably where most of you are tuning in from. But if you're not, hi, nice to see you. But the idea is very simple that in the Northern Hemisphere, when we are in the dead of winter, we're in the middle of a time when we're supposed to be huddled up and warming ourselves and going inward and tending, as the trees do, to our roots, taking all of our energy, all of our creative energy, all of our expressive energy. We're not budding flowers and shooting out new branches. We are coming in like the tree and bringing that energy down to tend to our roots, to strengthen ourselves. But your ADHD mind is really thrown off by this. How do I know this? Because I've been dealing with it all my life. How do I know this? Because I've seen it with all my clients. And here's why you need to change your understanding of the rhythms of the year, of the cycles of the year, and why you need to disconnect from this calendar system. Because you're being pushed into a state of burnout. You're being pushed into a state of stress. This social conditioned need to perform, to show up and say, oh, I've got my New Year's resolutions. Oh, I've got my gym membership ready to go. Oh, I'm completely changing everything about my health. I'm, new year, new me. This creates a layer of shame. And if you already don't know how to manage your dopamine system, if you're already having difficulty with motivation, which I know you are because you're here watching this, then adding on a layer of social pressure and shame is not going to help anything. That's why you need to change your relationship with this time of year. The other reason why you need to do this is because your nervous system is a much more ancient nervous system, one that existed and was thriving long before modern churches, long before the agricultural systems and the bureaucratic systems and all of these organizations and corporations came in. Your nervous system was thriving by listening to and honoring the rhythms of the sun and the moon, honoring the seasons and the cycles. You have a nervous system that is a hunter, gatherer, nomadic, ancient tribal nervous system, one that thrives in community and collaboration, one that thrives with intense action for short bursts of time. Go and hunt that animal, bring it back, feast, and then chill, relax, integrate. And these seasonal rhythms, you clearly see them in the seasons. You see them in the way that societies and ancient tribal uh, cultures and communities used to orient themselves. You see that because they would slow down. Now, we live in a very different world. So you need to update your operating system. Look, let's get very clear on what your nervous system is and what this calendar is. Your nervous system is powerful. It is externally influenced, right? Even as I'm sitting here now, I'm just chilling on my little garden patio at the place that I'm renting, and there's a lot of sound around me. I hear the water pump in the neighbor's house. I hear the cars driving by, the kids playing. It's New Year's Day. It's January 1st. People are out, they're doing their thing. And I hear all of it because our nervous system, the ADHD nervous system, is much more like a hunter where I'm constantly kind of scanning consciously or unconsciously the periphery and I'm being influenced by those external realities. And so the things on your phone, the things on social media, the advertisements, the decorations, these are all influencing you much more than a neurotypical person. And so these subtle and sometimes not so subtle cues that say, you need to be doing better. You need to be planning for the best year of your life. 2026, this is the best year. This is the transformational year. This stuff is going to cause stress inside of you. It is toying with your unconscious mind because your unconscious mind sees everything, hears everything, feels everything. Every bit of data coming into your mind, into your body through your senses is understood, organized, and saved by your unconscious mind. And it influences you. And so it's time for you to get clear on how you want to allow this outside world to influence you or not. One of the most powerful ways that we are programmed is through the Gregorian calendar. I'm living in an Arabic speaking country, a Muslim country that does not, I say 90% of the people here do not follow the rules and regulations of Christianity, except for the calendar. I'm learning how to speak Arabic, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I need to learn the months. And I was thinking it's gonna be some complex system, a Muslim calendar, and they're like, no, it's December, it's October. The months are basically the same. There's a few minor differences. Augustus, but it all comes from the Latin Roman calendar, the Gregorian calendar system. They follow this calendar because that's what the entire world does, because the entire world is underneath a spell. The ancients believed that the year was more likely to start, and this varies from culture to culture. The Mayan culture would say sometime in February. The Chinese New Year is in February. Uh, the zodiac, Western zodiac system would say it starts in March. Many cultures would indicate this to be the March equinox, the spring equinox, when the day and the night are once again equal, because right now in the winter we are currently in the darkest of days, the shortest of days, the longest nights. They used to believe that that was the beginning of something new, not just because of the way that the sun changed and how many hours of day of sun we have, but it's also because you can see it in nature. You can see it in the flowers that begin to bud, the first leaves of the early budding and growing plants would start to shoot up and shoot out, and they're reaching towards the sun. And so that is when we come out of our slumber. That is when animals come out of their hibernation and they begin to move and take action, and life comes forward. It's the season of Aries, Aries, which is the fire starter, the one that initiates. So our ancestors would have been resting, contemplating, understanding our inner world, processing emotions, conserving energy, slowing down. But you haven't been taught to do that. You and all of us have been taught to go, 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 right? Quarter four of the fiscal year is aggressive. It's rough. It's hard. And those of us with the ADHD nervous system have even more difficulty because we're more sensible, like more sensitive to these rhythms. We need to have and we need to honor our body's rhythms, but we've been taught to just go and go and go. And we are not farmers. We are not the neurotypical people that can just get up and do the same thing every day from 9 to 5, 12 months out of the year. Though being honest, the life rhythm does change for the farmers, typically and traditionally speaking, but they still work pretty consistently throughout the year. You're not meant to be a 9 to 5, 365 kind of person. You're meant to honor your rhythms and your cycles. And this calendar slave system has kept you locked in. It's kept you spiking your cortisol. It's kept you spiking your nervous system, your stressors, your adrenal system. You're just engaged and firing on all cylinders all year long. And a hunter knows that he needs to conserve his energy or her energy for the moment when the opportunity arises. When we see that little bit of data, that information coming in that says, ooh, I think I need to take action. I need to pay attention, right? Draws our attention. And then we take action. We strike. We have all this power. We have the energy conserved so that we can rush, race, chase, hunt, and then bring that victory back home. But you can't do that if you burned out and you've been burning out for 12 months. And then you're going to burn out for another 12 months because you never allowed yourself to reset. So, like, how are you going to do this? How okay, it's easy to say, okay, the Gregorian calendar system is a slave system and you need to change things. You need to live differently. And it's a little challenging when the entire world is running on this rhythm. And how do you change? How do you unplug? Well, there's a few ways you can do this. Number one, you can still choose to allow yourself, to give yourself permission to rest, recover, and slow down during this time of year. For example, today I allowed myself to sleep in until my body woke up, which was around, well, I don't know, 9 o'clock. I'm choosing to give myself permission. And sometimes I'll even explicitly write this down so that it impresses upon my subconscious mind, because the psychomotor neurons that link the hand, the movement, and the conceptual thinking brain will actually impress more easily the unconscious mind. And I'll say, today I give myself permission to be slow. Today I give myself permission to start slowly. So you can give yourself time off. You can schedule yourself breaks. You can schedule yourself, create a routine of honoring yourself and allowing yourself to sleep a little bit longer, going to bed earlier, turning off your phone earlier, setting an alarm, writing up notes. Remember, we're visually and externally influenced to a high degree. And so you can write notes that say, turn off your phone, go to bed early. I love you, and that's why you need to get off of social media. Set an alarm on your phone at 8 o'clock at night that says, hey, it's time for us to wind down. And schedule yourself, create routines and rhythms that are exciting and interesting for you. Look, I know holding and installing new rhythms and routines can be challenging for those of us with this nervous system, and there are ways to do it. Writing up notes on the wall, setting reminders on your phone. I even just installed a shortcut on my phone with an iPhone that automatically changes the screen to a color filter where it deletes and removes all of the blue light at 9 p.m. every night. So as soon as that switch happens, it's an important external visual reminder that says to me, it's time to wind down. If you're still on your phone, you need to get to bed. The days are shorter, the nights are longer, and the world is telling us to slow down and rest. But you need to give yourself permission first, because no one is going to come and do it for you. You have to give yourself permission. You can also find accountability. If you live with a partner, a romantic partner, a wife, husband, whatever, you can say, hey, my desire is to slow down. Can you help me to make sure that by 9 o'clock, we're turning off our electronics? You can create accountability systems and accountability groups, join a community, get into body doubling and flow state doubling, in order to help align with other people who are interested in sharing this new rhythm. Because it's not going to happen automatically. Even though your whole body, your whole system is saying we need to slow down, it won't happen unless you choose to do it. Another way that you can do this is by choosing to really start your day as clearly, successfully, and easily as you can. Now, the days are shorter, so you might not get a whole lot of sunlight when you're coming out and waking up. But still, get up, get outside, move your body. First things first, get up outside, move your body. I came outside, I opened the door, I get out, I get the sun on my eyes, I get myself moving. Uh, just get your body started and do the things that you need to do first thing in the morning when your energy is fresh, when your dopamine system is regulated and reset to help set yourself up for success later in the night. Hydrate, move your body, expose yourself to sunlight, stay away from your screens, put your screens away for the first hour. Get yourself some nice uh, stimulating music, even if you want to, and dance and move your body. And do those things early in the day because that will tell your circadian rhythm. It will set your circadian rhythm for an earlier night. You will get tired earlier because you're up earlier. That means that when it starts to become dark, you'll get naturally more set in a space to go and unwind. And I would say the next thing and the last thing that I would go over with you is stop worrying about New Year's resolutions. This isn't really the new year. This is a time for you to be reflecting on what's happened, right? Don't focus on New Year's resolutions and say, I've got to create my whole goals and map out my entire year. Give yourself permission to reflect on the year that has been. Give yourself permission to see what's come and what's gone. Ask yourself, what did I enjoy about this year? What do I celebrate from this last year? And then choose to say, and I'm going to digest that. I'm going to take my time and really reflect before I choose to move into planning for this next year. I encourage you to do this with somebody else. Get someone else involved. Send each other questions that you would like to ask each other. Sometimes it's harder for us to be internally motivated and to ask ourselves really good questions. So we can actually just invite someone else and say to them, hey, what did you really enjoy about the year? Invite them out for a nice cup of tea or a little bit of hot chocolate and interview them, ask them so that you don't have to do it alone. You ask them, they ask you, and you can celebrate this process together. But the most important thing is that you need to shift your rhythm because your body and your nervous system, more so than most humans, though all of us have this built into us, but more so with this hunter nervous system, this ADHD, ancient, powerful, transformational, visionary nervous system, you need time to slow down. So gift yourself permission to do so. Write it out. Write yourself a note on the wall that will remind you visually that says, I'm allowed to rest. I choose to gift myself rest. I choose to slow down and do your best. For a lot of us, we can't completely unplug from our jobs. We can't completely ignore the whole world around us that's currently in this, new year, new you mode, right? Selling the most amount of gym memberships right at the end of December and the beginning of January, and then also seeing the most cancellations by mid and the end of January. And so, if any of this resonates with you, or if you feel like you need more support in this process, stick around. Make sure that you're following and subscribing to this channel. You can find me on at the Mutant Academy on Instagram, and make sure that you're tuned in because we're launching a community soon that is going to help you with these rhythms, with the accountability, with the body doubling, with the things and the tools and the techniques and the hypnotherapy and the subconscious reprogram that you need to be able to live in a rhythm that honors your nervous system, honors your body, and honors the ancient intelligence and wisdom that is inside of every single one of your cells. So, I'm wishing you not a happy new year because F that, this is not a new year. I'm wishing you a beautiful winter, or if you're down in the southern hemisphere, a beautiful summer. I'm wishing you peace in connecting with the natural rhythms that your body and all of your ancestors' bodies has wired into it. And I'm wishing you grace and peace as you reflect on the 12 months that have passed, prepare for a beautiful spring to come. Until next time, it's for Armstrong, and I am the headmaster of the Mutant Academy. I'm here to support you as you honor your nervous system and turn your disorders into superpowers. So